Welcome to Ice Age, guys. I'm Dan Valentino.
I'm M. Darcy.
And I'm Catherine McVeigh.
And if you don't know what this show's about, we talk about all the latest hockey news going on in the world. And today we're going to start off with something sad. Catherine, want to take it away?
Sure. So it's been in the news that local to where I'm from, Philadelphia, ice hockey player Nick Bond, he was only 18 years old. He passed away from a brain aneurysm that he had after playing a hockey game. And he's actually from my high school. It really hit everyone in my high school really hard. But what was cool was that different members from the Flyers have reached out to the family. Claude Giroux sent a care package to each of Nick's brothers and his parents. And then I think the next game after this happened, the Flyers singer wore Nick Bond's jersey. They had a moment of silence for him. They featured him on the Jumbotron. And now they're having a fundraiser for him, and they're having a bunch of former Flyers go to this fundraiser.
Wow, that's so awesome.
Yeah, it's just really cool seeing them step up like that.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I always think, I think hockey is just such a different sport in general, where I think the players, and, you know, it was best said, Stephen McDonald, who recently passed away, the New York Rangers were very heavily involved with him. And, you know, they said best was, hockey players are no different than their fans.
Right.
And, you know, we're all one of the same. And the guys that are on the ice, they're just like their fans, you know, and I think that really embodies that, where for them to go out of their way and, you know, do like all this kind of stuff to remember him is just so important and so touching.
You know, it was a very classy move of the Flyers and their players to do what they did, especially of the national anthem singer the one game, the day after it happened.
Yeah.
I swear I thought I saw something of the team was going to wear something with his jersey number. I wasn't sure.
And his team did that.
His team, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if the Flyers were doing that for like a pregame.
Yeah, I'm not sure if
not.
they did that, but
I can't remember.
his team definitely did.
Yeah, no, but in any case, it was just great what the Flyers did for him. It's just such a tragic moment that happened. It reminds me of, I'm drawing a blank on the player's name. It happened over in Russia.
Oh, yes.
He was a Rangers draft pick.
Yes.
I know Yager was there. I just can't remember the player's name, but
I think this also goes back to, you know, the whole enforcer role and why it's so important that, you know, players wear their helmets, and because it is such a dangerous sport. Even, you know, it goes back to at the young age when you're playing. You know, if you're not fully aware of what you're doing on the ice, Dan and I both just saw the movie Manchester by the Sea.
Oh, yeah.
And in the movie, one of the players, he's a hockey player, and he's having like a really bad day. He's very upset, stuff's going on. And he's asked the coach, he was like, you know, can I just go to practice today? And the coach, he's like, I want to get my mind off of everything. And the coach is like, no, because when you're on the ice, your mind has to be focused.
Yeah.
And it's so true. You know, it's not a type of sport that you can just go and relax and hang out. You have to be so focused and know exactly what's going on, because it is dangerous.
Right, and I think that even goes in hand with, in the junior teams, I think, or like a certain age level, they have the stop signs on the back of the jerseys. Just, I think it's right like below the neck of the player, just so even if you aren't thinking, your eyes know stop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know. And speaking of dangerous hits, we'll transition into some questionable hits that happened this past weekend, and that started off in Pittsburgh. I want to say it was Saturday night.
The
Or was it
Detroit
Friday night?
game?
No, against Winnipeg. Or was that Friday night?
I think that was right.
That was Friday, because
Friday
I was at the game against Detroit on Sunday.
Okay. You know, there was some questionable hits from both teams. I know.
Yeah, there were 2 injuries out of that game, I'm pretty sure, for the Penguins.
Yeah, for the
from
Penguins. I know Ali Mott is out, I
Yep.
believe, 4 to 6 weeks now because of a wrist injury. He
Justin
has
Schultz.
surgery.
Justin
and
Schultz
Schultz
had
got hurt.
injury.
And then there was the hit that Malkin had on Blake Wheeler towards the end of the
Right.
game, which was a hit to the head. But to be honest, it was a tough call,
Yeah.
since he did leave his skates when you look at the replay. And Wheeler was a bit down, so maybe Malkin could have held up a bit, maybe just let him go there, because Mark Stewart's the one who touched the puck.
Right.
And from what I saw, it looked like Malkin was going after Wheeler on the play, not Stewart. And they were both right next to each other.
And
so
Malkin's the type of player, he's a retaliatory player. If he
Mm-hmm.
sees two of his teammates getting hurt, he's going to want to stir things up a little bit. So it's not good to take people out like that.
Oh,
I
no.
think that wasn't his intention.
no, I don't
His
think it was
intention
either.
was to make a hit,
Mhm.
but his intention was not to make an injuring type hit.
Yeah, no. And I don't think that was the case with any of the Jets hits, really.
No, of course not.
I mean, it's a fast game,
Right.
and Mata's hit I really didn't see. I heard it was a tad late,
Yeah.
and Schultz was a boarding call that should have been, or it didn't get called, right?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, it should have been a penalty because I believe Bufflin hit him. So that I could see an injury happening from Bufflin hitting anyone, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then another incident with the Jets happened. I believe it was it Sunday? Or it might have been Saturday. It's when Trouba,
Oh, yeah, with the 2-game suspension.
yeah, Trouba, I'm drawing a blank right now on who they were playing.
I just watched the video on it. I'm trying to think too.
no,
Were they playing the Stars?
no, it
No.
wasn't Dallas. I want to say they were playing an East Coast team.
I'm not positive.
Can't recall.
But I know with that hit, he was suspended for 2
Yeah,
games.
2 games.
And
Fined
fined
like
30,
30,000.
well, he
33,000.
forfeited $33,000
Which I
because
think
he's
that-
missing 2 games based on his
Right.
salary.
I think not like that there's a good thing, but I think the best thing to come out of this hit was that that money is donated towards, it's donated towards, I think, injured players and research into hits and something. I know it was going to like a really good cause for
Mhm.
players who were injured.
Oh, that's good.
No, that is a good thing.
So, there's some light in like a dark situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also Blake Wheeler came out just before. I got a notification about it a couple hours ago that he said he just wishes that the league would have some consistency with
Yeah.
calling
Yeah.
these suspensions, because it is annoying seeing a hit like both those 2 hits,
Yeah.
and one get a suspension and the other not.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
That's just how he feels about it. I know
Mhm.
Bob McKenzie had an article out. For those who you don't know, Bob McKenzie writes for TSN, does stuff with them. He's a huge part of their hockey program up in Canada. And TSN's hockey program. But yeah, he was saying that Trouba's hit was all through Rule 48 and definitely deserves a suspension. And he said Malkin's hit wasn't really, was borderline suspension worthy.
I think it's definitely a valid point, though. I think you watch different games, and certain players they definitely come down harder on, and I don't even think they're even consistent in sometimes it's the bigger name players who they're harder on, and then sometimes they get off the hook easier.
Right.
So you never really know
Yeah,
that general.
They usually play
sense.
favorites, it seems.
Yeah, but I feel like sometimes also the bigger the name, sometimes the harder they come down on them.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, the bigger the name, sometimes
I'd
it's
say
like
that's more in the case of like a James Neal type of
Yeah.
player.
Yeah, I remember when they used to have the Brendan Shanahan little videos after each suspension. He would explain everything, and they would say the history of the player if they
Yep.
have a past of doing things like this, and that definitely counts against you. You're going to get more time if you've done it in the past.
Yeah, so say like Antoine Roussel did this, like had the same hit on Wheeler. I think he would probably get suspended
Right.
just because he has a history of, being a grinder, that
Mhm.
type of player, and being suspended. So someone like him, obviously, a hit like that will hurt him.
Right.
I just remember, I think it was either 2012 or 2013 playoffs, and Carl Hagelin, remember he had the rough hit, and he was suspended. I think it was 2 games, or it was
In
2 or
2012, you're saying.
2012, yeah.
Against the Senators, that
Yes.
series. Yeah, I was at that game when he hit.
Made the hit, and
it was on
a bad
Alfredson.
hit.
Yeah, it was a high
definitely-
elbow
yeah.
to Alfredson's head. Alfredson's head. So yeah, no, I completely agree with that. That a hit like that deserves a suspension.
Absolutely, but then I remember in that same playoffs, I think when the Rangers were playing the Capitals, Ovechkin jumped off his feet and came down. I can't remember who he came down on, and it was definitely not as penalized as strictly. And I found that to be interesting. Although Ovechkin, like, he is like one of the biggest name in hockey.
Oh yeah.
But I think for him to leave his feet, he's a huge guy. So coming down on somebody, plus you've left your feet, I think definitely.
Well, Ovechkin's a very physical player also, so that's always a concern when Ovechkin's going to hit someone.
Yeah.
Especially if he's going to leave his feet. But we're going to take a quick PSA break, so stay tuned. Back. So, Patrick Kane just accomplished something on Sunday that no other American has done before. He has scored 20 plus goals in his first 10 seasons. Only American to ever do that.
That's phenomenal.
It's amazing. I don't know if you guys saw the goal.
It was a good goal.
It was beautiful. Did you see it?
No, I wasn't able to see it.
Well, he got in front of Robin Lehner all by himself and made Lehner look silly. And it was the perfect goal to reach that milestone.
That's
I
great.
definitely love when stuff like that
Especially
happens.
Yeah.
being home. And, well, the Blackhawks were on the road, but
Yeah.
Patrick Kane being home back in the Buffalo area.
Yeah.
His parents there.
That's great. I love when stuff
It goes
like
back
that
to,
works out.
this isn't even hockey, but you remember Derek Jeter's last home game,
Mm-hmm.
last hit, home run, runs off the field. Like, I love when stuff like that, when a milestone hit or goal
Yeah,
or
like his
something like that.
3,000th hit was a home run.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like when stuff like that happens, it's like, it's very cool
Oh,
to watch.
yeah, no, it's something great to happen when you're in front of your family.
Yeah.
And if it's especially a home game, that's
Yeah.
great. But no, something like that was amazing. And I honestly think he's already overtaken Mike Modano for the best
Oh, yeah.
U.S. player
Yeah.
ever. So
And I think just the fact that he's been here for 10 years is crazy.
he's only, what, 28?
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
it was just
He's-
yesterday that he was being drafted.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
You know,
I mean,
he's
being that
Been around
dominant,
forever.
that
He's
dominant at
just
that
so
young
good.
of an age.
He's so good. It's just insane to think that he has that many goals
Yeah.
already. And he's only 28. So he's just getting into his prime.
Yeah.
So there's years left of Patrick Kane just dominating players. Or goalies, I should say, and teams.
Yeah, I think
because-
he'll definitely set many more records after
Yeah.
this.
Oh, I definitely think so. It's just insane. I mean, I don't know if he'll be like a Yager, who's an ageless
Plays
wonder.
forever.
I mean, he got his,
How
what was
old
it?
is Yager? He's definitely, I know
45.
45.
45.
I thought he was
He got his-
42.
I thought he was 44.
No, he turned 45 and got his 19,000th point. Or 1900th point, I should say. Not 19,000, that would be insane.
Really?
But yeah, no, he got his 1900th point on his 45th birthday.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so that was something all in of itself. It was insane. But also, speaking of incredible goals, there was this one that happened in the Southern Professional Hockey League, the SPHL, very low level of minor league hockey in America. And it's courtesy of the Pensacola Ice Flyers, I believe. And the player, is it Nick
We were pronouncing it
Cosino?
before. Cosino.
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 Nick Cosino. He avoided a massive hit from a defender and was just on his knees pretty much, or brought it back in front of the net, was falling down and scored.
I think that was such a phenomenal play to watch because it kind of felt like him and the goal were like, it was like a magnet
Yeah.
attracting it. You know, he goes down and the puck just kind of stayed with him, even though there are all these players on the ice. Nobody really was
Yeah.
able to get to it in time. And by the time he was able to get up, he was over here and just shot it right in, and it goes in. It was
It was
such a cool
insane.
play to watch.
It was insane. And to think he only has 9 goals on the season.
And that's the thing too, because you watch that and you're like, wow, he must be so talented, like the best on the team, to have that agility, to be able to fall, get up, find the puck, shoot it, and score. But you know, sometimes people just get lucky.
Yeah, exactly. Just like probably Brian Gibbons had a fantastic goal with the WBS Penguins. Forget how many years ago it was. It was definitely a little
It was
while
a while ago, Brian Gibbons.
Yeah, because they were playing, I think it was St. John's. It made the rounds on all the,
Yeah,
like
I
all the
remember
networks.
this, yeah.
Like he got through 2 defenders, something like that, and scored with one hand.
Yeah.
It was an insane goal.
Sometimes it's just meant to happen. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, no, that
Like-
is true. That's true. Like, I know I saw an insane goal this year at Mohegan Sun with Jake Gunsel. First game of the season. He's coming in on a breakaway. Michael Paliota of the Wolfpack, Hartford Wolfpack, comes in, tries to knock the puck away. Trips up Gunsel. It's going to be a penalty. And Gunsel still puts it past Mackenzie Skapski for the goal.
That's great.
It was insane. They've been playing it every pregame
I'm
so
sure
far.
on replay.
It was an insane goal to see. And speaking of milestones, as we were about Yager before, Sidney Crosby reached 1,000 points.
Yes, he did.
Fastest ever, right?
I believe so.
I think so.
He's
I heard something about that.
definitely faster than Ovechkin. I know that was something said. Yeah, he it came on an assist, I believe. It was the Winnipeg
Yeah, it was
game.
the Winnipeg game.
Crazy game, but yeah, he set up. I think it was Malkin or someone did some in that game. Malkin did a phenomenal goal, but yeah, Sid set up. I think it was the second goal of the game. Then it went into overtime, I think, and then
I thought he
or
had
it was right
added
before.
2 more points.
right then he scored the game-winning goal
Yeah,
in typical Sid fashion. But I think
wide open net.
yeah, they were saying it's just very like him to achieve a milestone, but then like add more. Like it's
Yeah.
never ending for him.
Yeah.
He's been having an insane season. Sorry,
No, no. I feel like he's just one of those players, you know, being a Rangers fan, you know, hate him, love
Yeah.
him, whatever. He's a phenomenal player. It's
Exactly.
like Tom Brady, you know, in football. Love him, hate him. There's
Yeah.
talent there. There's
Exactly.
pure talent, and I just think he's able to find the puck wherever he knows his lines. I think he's somebody that could genuinely just play with anyone. He's
Yeah.
able to read people's
Yeah.
bodies and know
Oh,
where
yeah.
they're going to be on the ice at all
If
times.
you look at his line mates right now, there are 2 guys they brought up from Wilkes-Barre,
Yeah.
and they've been on fire.
And I think that's what takes a leader and a strong player is that versatility to be
Yeah.
able to be.
You know, he's had one heck of a comeback season.
He has.
He had pretty much of a disappointing year last year, right?
Last year, the first half of the season, I mean, he didn't even make the All-Star vote. But then
Which is amazing to think with the fan vote.
I know. But then when the Penguins got the new coach, everything changed for Sid. He was on fire the second half of the year. He almost caught up to the scoring title after having
Yeah, no,
such
that's
a insanely off first half. But yeah, right now I think he's close to the league lead or at the league lead in points, but he's still behind by I think it's at least 10 games or something
Who's
like
leading
that.
the league right now?
Connor McDavid might be in points.
Okay.
I think he's been having a great year.
He's
Very quiet because you're hearing a lot from Patrick Laine, Austin
Yeah.
Matthews,
Yeah,
and Mitch
that's
Marner.
who I thought it was at first.
Well, he leads rookies in points.
Yeah.
He has at least 50, and I think he also leads all rookies in goals as well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting
Which is
matchup.
impressive.
Yeah.
like-
Patrick Laine, he's 18.
Yeah.
I mean,
Giant.
he's having one heck of a year, and it's going to be interesting to see coming up. I believe it's Friday or so. It's soon. Toronto against Winnipeg. So
Ooh, yeah. That'll
having
be
them
good.
play again for the second and final time this year would be interesting.
Yeah.
Because the first time I know the Jets got the best of the Leafs, and I believe Laine scored a goal. So it will be interesting to see what happens this time around.
how they match up.
Yeah. Because both teams are a little bit different.
Yeah, different styles of play, different.
Winnipeg's a more physical team,
Mhm.
and they are hit by the injury bug right now a little bit, so that hurts them a bit.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with them.
Yeah.
But that's my game to watch this weekend.
Mhm.
It's
I would think so.
it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Who would have thought that a Winnipeg Toronto game would be the game to watch?
Exactly.
One draft will do you good.
It's so
Unless
funny
you're
to see
Edmonton.
season from season two.
Yeah.
How much it changes
Mhm.
so drastically.
Yeah, but that's all the time we have for today. I'm Dan Valentino.
I'm M. Darcy.
And I'm Catherine McVeigh.
Thank you for watching Ice Age, and we hope you tune in next week. So it's at 7:30. See you then.